Hello there, aspiring Tennos. One of you kindly brought it to my attention that Aya does drop from the Zariman bounties. I did check the official drop rates, the official drop tables, and at that time they had forgotten to add Aya, which is why I assumed that it did not drop from here. Now I've done a bit of testing, or I mean I haven't tested anything, but I've run down the numbers and I've concluded whether or not it is actually worth running this in terms of efficiency. Now, I always say that if you need something from the bounties anyways, you should run it now while it is available, because it's still going to be better to get it done now while Aya is available compared to farming Aya somewhere else and then doing the bounties later. Now anyways, let's talk about whether it is actually efficient to farm Aya. It is not. If you wanted to farm 20 Aya an hour, which is currently the fastest that is possible, to my knowledge anyways, you would have to complete these bounties in 20 seconds. Now let me go ahead and show you the drop tables, and then I'll explain how the hell I reached these conclusions. Alright, so right now we're trying to deal with the Zariman bounties and the rewards. As you can see here, we have the drop chance for Aya, it being a rare drop here, weirdly enough, but it's about 9%. And then it goes up to, let's see, where is it? Still not quite there. So specifically on the 90 to 95 bounty, and as well on the Steel Path version, we're dealing with an uncommon drop, which is like 12 point, some percent. Now, for the sake of simplicity, and you'll see why it really doesn't matter in a moment, let's say that we have a 10% drop chance, right? So, how many bounties do you have to do to get 1 Aya? On average, to do 10 bounties. Or rather, I should say you have to do 10 stages, which is the same as 1 bounty on the Zariman, which is the whole point. Anyways, you have to do 10 stages. So, if you want to do 20 Aya an hour, well, that means that you have to do 10 times 20 stages, which is 200. And as we all know, 3 multiplied by 60, which would, it would be 180, so roughly 200. So basically, what I'm saying is that if we take 1 minute, this is getting a bit complicated. If we take 1 minute and we divide it by 3, right, it would be about 20 seconds. That is how fast you have to complete 1 bounty in order to farm 20 Aya per hour. Let's say that you only want to farm 10 and you still have to do it in 40 seconds, which is in most cases, I want to say in every single last case, possible. So overall, you're going to get a very small amount of Aya from doing the Zariman bounties. Now, it might still be worth doing because, as you will know, you're going to get other rewards as well. And in particular, maybe it is worth doing it at least enough that you can trade out for standing and buy the arcanes, which can then be sold for platinum. So let's go ahead and take a look at that as well. So we are here on one of my, at this point, let's be honest, iconic spreadsheets. Haven't had a reason to make one for a while, yet here we are. Thank you DE for giving me a reason to do this. So anyways, the drop chance of Aya is slightly above 12%. The spreadsheet says 12 because it rounds it down, but it does calculate it correctly as 12.34%. Now, this means that you're gonna have on average to run 8.1 stages or bounties, as there is only 1 stage per bounty here. So 8.1 bounties for 1 Aya. This means that if you can complete a bounty in 5 minutes, you're gonna get a astounding 1.5 Aya per hour of grinding, which is hysterically terrible. Anyways, then we have Endo, which is the only other reward that can be sold for platinum. Now, if you need the other rewards, you can grind them out for yourself, but this is the only thing that can be traded and therefore can be talked about in terms of value in a quantifiable way. Okay, so we calculated the value of 1 Endo, which is the price difference on prime mods, which is 100 platinum between a rank 0 and a rank 10 mod. And then we divide this by the cost in Endo to upgrade a mod from rank 0 to rank 10. which is around 40,000. Then, in order to get this number down here, I know this looks a bit crazy, but basically we take the number of Endo you get from the reward and the chance of getting that reward, plus the other reward and the chance of getting that reward, all of that multiplied by the number of runs that you can do in 1 hour, assuming that each run takes 5 minutes. So you're going to be making just around 9,000 platinum, which is about the same you'll make doing brute force on Deimos, which has way more IA per hour, like I think 9 more IA per hour, which, come on guys. An attempt to make this balanced was not made. Now here, this is kind of assuming that everything, this is the best possible outcome basically. So IA itself, I assume that the IA is going to be worth 12 platinum per each, because that is what I was able to sell it for doing the last Prime Resurgence. May or may not be the same cost now, who knows. The Endo, again, same calculation, basic stuff. This is just the amount you'll be making per hour multiplied by the how much one Endo is worth in platinum, which is like 0.0025. Then we have standing, because the standing on the Zariman is actually useful in the sense that you can buy arcanes like Emergence Dissipate, which is still somewhat valuable if you have enough of them. So there's 2 different ways you can calculate this, and here we are assuming for all of this, by the way, that you're running the missions with the highest levels. So the standing here comes from, you get 4 Void Plum Quills for each mission, which is worth 10,000 standings, multiplied by the number of runs you can do per hour. And then over here, we have here the amount of standing you're gonna be earning divided by the amount of standing you require to buy a fully maxed Emergence Dissipate, multiplied by the price, generously speaking, because the cheapest one is 80 and then it's 100 and then it's 150. I don't know how many of these sell. So this, I mean, we're definitely giving it the benefit of the doubt here. But anyways, assuming all of this is true, you're going to be making a laughable 100 platinum. And remember, some of this is in Endo, some is in IA, some is in standing, and you don't really want your capital to be spread out over multiple rewards. It's okay if the totality of those rewards are much higher than the price of one specific reward from a mission, but still it is a negative. And the reward overall here, like 100 platinum for an hour of focused grinding, not super great honestly. You'd be much better off opening relics, or I don't know, doing brute force on Deimos. Anyways, I think brute force is really good if you couldn't tell. Now, if you're doing the exterminate mission where you have to kill a void angel as well, which might take a little while, but then again, all of them will have some additional objective that's going to slow you down. Here, at the very least, you'll also be getting a void plume pinion, which is worth 5,000. So instead of getting 10,000 per run, you're actually going to be making 50,000. So same deal, just 5,000 more standing per round. Under the best possible conditions, you're going to be making 125 platinum per hour. Now let's say that you're some kind of superhuman and you have this strat down to a science, or maybe you're running it with friends or whatever. Let's say you can do it in 3 minutes. What happens? Well, okay, now you're going to be making 2.5 iron per second. Still pretty terrible. You are going to be making a good amount of Endo all of a sudden. And as well, and this is very importantly, you're going to be making about 161 platinum per hour. And if it's the best case scenario, which doesn't happen all that often, mind you, you can be making 182. And I think it's under these conditions that it starts to look kind of worth it. So if you have a coordinated team, and I want to say specifically, and only if exterminate is available at the highest mission, and the condition is not something that's going to completely screw you over, let's actually talk about some of these conditions. Let's not make it so theoretical. Let's see. So if we jump, sorry, the camera got really dark there. But if we talk to Quinn, and let's see, bounties, right? So let's see. I mean, Void Angels is okay. The one where you have to kill enemies in operator form is okay if it's low enough. If it's like 200 enemies, do not even bother with it. Then we have the one where you have to kill 200 enemies. I mean, if that's in Exterminate, I don't think it can be. It would still be okay. This one in particular, if you get the one with Melissa, Melika, just stay away from it. It is so slow. Anyways, I think that is the most that I can possibly break this down. Hope this answered your question. Once again, thank you for bringing my attention to this. You know, you keep me hooked up with information, and I try and keep you hooked up with the best calculations possible. Anyways, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, I would appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.